Hello, welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, still rocking, doing some more starter deck builds. I'm going to try to crank these out a little faster so I can get into some more and different kind of your first week, your first month in the arena type content as opposed to all being day one. So try to help out people who are just jumping into the game. Also, I expect the whole thing with this beta, this closed beta thing, I expect the new player experience to change a lot when we go to open beta. So gotta get these videos up fast while they're useful. That's the way I'm looking at it. Today we're getting in with a mono red build. It's going to be very similar to the red-black artifact aggro build that I made a video of a little while ago. However, some people might want to be mono red purist, and I'll show you what you get for a mono red mana base and what kind of deck you can build. So let's take it right out, get right to it. Face is the place when you are the red deck, so hands perfectly fine. Just the red cards you expect. Opponent on mulligan to 5 already in a lot of danger, but they're keeping a card on top. So perhaps a card that they needed. Maybe we will still have a game. And let's just drop the Inventor's Apprentice and get to work. So mono red, yes, but Scrapheap Scrounger being colorless, we use Aether Hub and Spire of Industry to generate black mana for the Scrounger. So that's why he's still in there. You just need a good 2-drop, and there's not much better out there than Scrapheap Scrounger, which can go into any deck because of that colorlessness. It pumps our Inventor's Apprentice, it crews Heart of Kiran, it synergizes with Pia and Pia Nalaar. Speaking of Pia Nalaar, since we have 2 of them, I think dropping it this before combat is a good idea. We don't want the opponent to be able to kill the Scrounger and then have the Apprentice shrink into a 1/2. So let's go for it. The extra Thopter would allow that. Now the disallow here we are totally happy with because we have another one. Let's see what the opponent has for us next. Alright, land off the top. Lets us continue to make our plays. Let's see again. Let's see if our opponent has another disallow for another Pia Nalaar. I'm going to lead with that. I'd almost rather have the Inventor's Apprentice, but there you go. Pia resolving. Let's send in our creatures. Okay, Fatal Push is fine. We will... Now this is why we played the Pia pre-combat, so the Inventor's Apprentice would still hit for 2. And now we can bring out another Inventor's Apprentice, giving us a really nice curve. Too much early pressure for a control deck to really deal with, especially on a mulligan. So Supreme Will's going to try to set our opponent up, but they're going to take a huge hit for it. And I think we're just going to try to do as much damage as we possibly can to get our Ballista to be lethal. So let's think about that. Right now we have 7. We could pump and make it 9. And that means that if this Ballista resolves for 2, even if our opponent has settled the wreckage, it's lethal. We are watching out for an untapped land into a Fumigate, which could be a problem, but I still think this is the way to go. Do we play around untapped land and Fumigate, or do we play around settle the wreckage? It's actually interesting. You know, I think that since 4 Fumigates are free, maybe it's smarter to play around that at this stage. I don't think our opponent can let this Ballista resolve and be useful anyway. So what we're going to do is play out the Aethersphere Harvester so that it survives a Fumigate and we can put pressure on our opponent again immediately if they do Fumigate. It also leaves a mana up, which... tiny thing, but we can sacrifice our Thopter before Fumigate resolves and our opponent would gain 1 less life. They're going to scoop. Maybe they were trying to set up that Fumigate and couldn't find the untapped land. So, like I said in the video for the black deck, the best way when you have a small collection and you're using all starter cards, and these are all cards that require no crafting, no packs, no nothing, you can make it right out of the box here in closed beta. The biggest the best thing you can do is kill the opponent before they get to use all of their rares and mythics that they crafted. So being very aggressive is highly recommended in your early days in MTG Arena. And few things are more aggressive than these red aggro decks. They have a name in Magic, red deck wins. It's because red decks often just win. And it looks like our opponent may know that secret as well. So Bomat Courier takes one for the team. Let's bring out the Scrapheap Scrounger. Get ready for some more combat. You see the Brazen Scourge hanging out in our hand, a 3/3 haste. Not a card I usually keep in the deck, but it's one of those starter deck things. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna do this anyway. May as well do it now. The Kari must die. Clear the way for the Scrounger. Get him there. The Scrounger could have attacked into the Kari anyway, and we could have waited to see if they'll block, but they would not. It would be a very foolish block. I wouldn't feel right if they did make that block. The Pyromancer, it's a bit of an annoying card. But now we have a Spire, which, if we have an artifact, can get our scrap heap back. So the question is, do we want to attack into it? I think what I want to do is just play the Scourge and attack with the Scourge. Having a shock means I can clear the way for the Scrapheap Scrounger later, and trading right here would take a lot of the power, like the threat, off the board. And I don't want to do that. So Wizard's Lightning might have been a reason to trade with that Pyromancer that I didn't think of, as my opponent wouldn't have been able to cast it otherwise. Another Scrounger, and we have Shock open, so that's very good. Our opponent's probably not going to find... Why does it say end turn? What's happening? What happened? Some visual bug, it appears? That's very uncool. Well, wait, I can't play my card? Oh no. Oh no. An emergency. Okay. Did I fix it? Everything's falling apart. The game is all crumbling around me. Alright, can I play this mountain? Is this like lag extreme? This is absolutely ridiculous. I shouldn't keep this. I shouldn't keep this video, but I'm just morbidly curious. Okay. Okay, we're doing it. Shock on the Scrounger, yeah. Gonna make mana.
Over here.
Seems as if the game has caught up with itself.
This'll be easy.
Play another Scrounger. My goodness. I mean, I guess this is some weird form of lag, but man, is it being odd. I don't think it's affected our opponent yet, from what I can tell. They seem to have been able to play in sequence, but we got time logged. Not thrilled with that. Okay, it can't block this turn. Well, I can promise you, Scrapheap Scrounger wasn't going to block anyway. Bomat still going face. Wow. And passing turn. Okay. Let's go face with our Scrapheap Scrounger. More removals. Okay, we will go add 1 mana of any color, make it black. And we have to do this now before the artifact leaves the battlefield. Okay, let's plus our Chandra. We could also use it to kill the Bomat now. Actually, the Bomat is getting very threatening, as it's about to go up to a 4th card. So we should get rid of that. If it gets too much more, it goes out of hand. So dealing with this bug, I'm just double-clicking the card in my hand instead of dragging it. That seems to be having an effect. I'm a dragger. I definitely like drag the card out and release it to play it, but if I double-click the card in my hand under this what we might call a visual jutsu for Naruto fans, seems to fix the problem and let me cast the spell. So that's good learning experience. In the past, what I've done with that bug is restart the client, but too worried about what that would look like and how long that would take when making a video. So let's look at the build. Again, 100% cards that you get for playing the game. No craft, no gold. Nope, nothing like that. No gems, no money spent. 2 shocks, 4 scroungers, a Kari Zev, 3 lightning strikes. All this should be pretty self-explanatory. Good, solid, aggressive stuff. Oops, forgot to scroll up. 4 Bomat Couriers, and an absolutely excellent card. You saw it was on the verge of reloading our opponent's hand last game. Inventor's Apprentice, you've seen, known as the Nerd Ape, working out very well. But doesn't look too nerdy. Looks really, really excited to be there. And very colorful. There's a Vyashino Pyromancer, which is kind of like the last 2-point burn spell. I felt like I needed one more. We have 3 Heart of Kiran, not 4, but I think 3 is a good number since it's legendary. And the ways to crew it aren't super plentiful. We do have Pia and the Scourge, but that is haste, so it's kind of awkward. And Chandra can crew it, and Scrapheap can crew it. So, yeah, it's fine. The Brazen Scourge also pretty good little haste body. Just comes down, smashes opponent, or crews Heart of Kiran. 2 Pias because they're legendary. Aethersphere Harvester, the energy. We do have Aether Hubs in the deck, so there's some synergy there, but for the most part, just another way to attack and race other red decks. 4 Chandra, Torch of Defiance. Awesome Planeswalker, exactly what you want. Hanging out with Chandra in the 4 spot is the Fleet Wheel Cruiser to try to get some massive damage in. A Demanding Dragon, which I find out you get from the Dragon starter deck, hanging out at the top of the curve, and 4 Walking Ballistas, again providing that reach. 16 mountains, 4 hubs, 4 spires, to make sure the spires and hubs are just there so that you can get some black mana every now and then to bring back your Scrapheap Scrounger, and the energy handles the Aethersphere Harvester. There's definitely an argument that we may not need 4 of each, as you always want some mountains in your draw, and draws with just these colorless sources may be bad. But I haven't been punished yet. I may change my name once that punishment occurs. Alright, let's try to get one more. Anybody hear that double take? I'm scared I'm still under the visual jutsu. The genjutsu. Creepy crows start flying out of Jace's butt. I'll know what's going on. Why, Itachi? Why? Alright. Mulligan. 1 land, not good enough. And that is much better. And being on the play, I don't want the 4th land, even though I have a Chandra. The odds of me finding another land off the top over 3 draws are pretty good. So I'm going to trust that I'm going to draw it naturally. What I definitely don't want for this hand is a 5th land. Go, Bomat Courier. Bring forth the mail. The Amazon delivery drone at work right here, right now. Merry Christmas. Yep, there's the land. Right on time. A little early. I'm, of course, being a bit sarcastic. Bit salty. Alright. But being on the play, and when your opponent's opener is an island, this feels very good. If our opponent's focusing on counter magic to save them, we are already well under the counter magic. They're going to have a very hard time slowing us down. A pair of 4 drops, which means we're not doing anything this turn, which is annoying, but we'll live. I'm going to put out the mountain, I guess. The Spire the Spire incentivizes my opponent to kill the Bomat Courier, so that I can't have a mana of any color, which, honestly, like, the mana of any color doesn't matter to me, but if my opponent's thinking about what to do with their mana, and what to do, what to destroy. I don't want them to kill the Bomat Courier. They might think they can just take a hit from it a few times, but that little guy can get out of hand. Alright, all the damage. If our opponent's sitting on like an Essence Scatter here, we're going to make them very sad by just passing the turn. Alright, blue-white reveals itself. And a Seal Away is going to come down, but that is going to leave the opponent wide open next turn. What are they going after? Kari's out. Okay. So I think that what we want to do then is hit with the Fleet Wheel Cruiser, but I'm going to have to think about that because the Inventor's Apprentice can crew the Fleet Wheel Cruiser later. My concern is that my opponent will be able to use a counter next turn to cut off my ability to crew the Fleet Wheel Cruiser, but that's okay. That works with my worst case scenario draw, which is a land, which would let me Chandra and Inventor's Apprentice. So we do want to Fleet Wheel Cruise. I guess my worst case scenario draw is the one of Demanding Dragon 5-drop that I can't use at all, but more land, it's much more likely. Alright, what does our blue-white control opponent, or at least they look like blue-white control, having only played a Seal Away, what do they do now? I'm sure they feel pressure to get rid of Bomat Courier. It's about to become a draw 4. So they do target it, leaving the cruiser on the battlefield. This is going to be an absolutely painful turn for our opponent. As they're going to go to 1, we're going to have a cruiser, a Chandra, and an Apprentice on the battlefield by the end of it. And we did draw the land, as I predicted we might, letting us have an absolutely ruthless turn.
You want to go, tough guy? Oh, this is gonna hurt.
And now a Fumigate doesn't save our opponent. A 1-for-1 removal spell doesn't. I'm not sure what does, to be totally honest. I can't think of anything, and my opponent can't either, so they are going to head out, and yet another victory and another video for your starter deck builds. A little good deck building, a little good play, and you don't have to pay to win. You can just win and not pay. Well, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like these starter deck guides, leave a thumbs up. I do plan to do all 5 colors, mono colors, and then after that we might look at some color pairs, or we might also look at the decks that you can unlock. After your first so many quests, you get a free deck unlock, and we can look at making that better as well. And leave me comments if you like this, if you want more of it, if you want a certain combination, if you want to ask questions about cards, go right ahead. And I do read the comments. I reply to as many as I can. And thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. CGB, I'm out of here.